a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Yeah. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
Ooh. What's going on, the One Cast fan? Welcome back to Fishing Friday. Trey and I are here in studio. Ben is joining us from his house. He's been making some jigs there in the shop, house, shop, garage, barn.
It's a One Cast fishing cave.
Yeah, the One Cast fishing cave.
It is. He's surrounded by millions and millions of billions of dollars.
No, I wish. More importantly, I wish that millions and millions and millions of people watching would buy the billions and billions of jigs, right? But
hey, if they're gonna buy them, they need to go to onecastfishing.com and use the code the OneCast, and they're gonna save a little change at checkout. Is that right?
that is correct. You save what 10% on that, yeah. Helps
For
out.
for show.
Yeah, I think
Well,
I
glad
put.
to have. Huh?
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, I put like
Sorry,
300
Jonathan.
3/8 shad swim jigs back in stock today, and then I'm set up to start painting in the morning, so paint up the PB&J football jigs because those things were going doo doo doo.
So when you paint, do you get all like crazy geared out with like a mask and gloves and an apron and all that stuff, or you say F it and I'm just gonna do it in cargo shorts and a shirt?
I mean, I do it in shorts and a shirt, but I'll put a mask on and well, you see my little box, right? It's got the little fans that will suck the things up in the filter, so
Yeah.
just put a little mask on and good to go. It gets hot in there.
You just push all the fumes up into the top into the One Cast fishing cave, and then when you go up there, you get all lightheaded and stuff.
Exactly. So if you see my eyes dilated, that's why.
Oh yeah, that's why. What's up, guys? What's up, Jonathan? Man, we got a few people that are tuning in here. We're excited to be back. Fishing Friday live. It is currently raining here in, I guess you would call this southeastern. No, we are in central North Carolina, and we were just talking about it before we started the Fishing Friday live. If you guys go to ncwildlife.org, Pete, myself, and Ben were talking about hunting. The hunting season is kicked off. It's bow season. It's getting ready to move into black powder and then into rifle season, depending on which county you're in, and it's broken up by the NC Wildlife map. But chronic wasting disease is something that NC Wildlife is taken very seriously. So if you go to ncwildlife.org, you can check out the map, and you can check out some of the things that they got going on with chronic wasting disease, CWD, and the directions and guidelines that they recommend you guys follow when you harvest a white-tailed deer. And I know I'm going to do it because I want to make sure that we preserve our whitetail population, because I know a lot of anglers, especially this time of year, they like to get off the water and get in the woods. And I plan on doing the same. So go check those guys out at ncwildlife.org. They are also the ones that come out to a lot of the tournaments that we're a part of. And they'll send their biologists out. They'll take fin samples and run DNA testing on, the different species of fish, primarily the largemouth bass. And they're the ones that do all the shocking and making sure that our fisheries are getting the aquatic vegetation replanted in them and stuff like that. So, that's why a fishing and hunt license is so important, they say. So some of that money gets dumped back into some of those programs and stuff.
Yeah. It's definitely important that you get your hunting, fishing license, all that good stuff, all that money. That's especially in North Carolina. When we had Corey on, he talked about it like that. That is where their primary source of funding comes from. So, going out and doing that and doing your part to make sure those programs. I know we have folks from other states. They're not all as good with your money, but North Carolina does a pretty good job of. Unless you talk to the flounder guys.
Oh, yeah. Industrial flounder, fishermen versus recreational. So
it's not even just industrial. It's like commercial recreational all across in the eastern side of the state. And I'm working to get that biologist from over there on to talk through some of that, just to help educate people, because if you go by online, you never learn anything because
Yeah.
both sides are right. But I'm looking forward to this tropical storm getting through today, tonight, and tomorrow, and then I'm gonna go lean on some on Sunday because I think they're gonna be chewing after this high low pressure. We're getting hit with both right now, so it's got everything all messed up. High winds and rain and all that. So I'm definitely going to get out on Sunday. Supposed to be a decent day, not too windy, a little bit cooler temps, and I'm going to go crank a square bill around somewhere. I was going to go to Jordan, but if we get an inch and a half of rain tonight and tomorrow, it'll be treacherous.
Yeah, we just have to take a look at the lake level.
We'll see. We'll see what that does.
Yeah. So, Ben, what are you getting into anything after this storm passes on Saturday?
Tomorrow, I mean, yeah, I'm painting jigs tomorrow, and then I'll be working probably. I guess Sunday's football day, but then maybe I can get out sometime late next week. It just depends on how much stuff I get done. You know how it is.
Yeah. For sure, man. I mean,
By the way,
hunting. What's up?
Well, you mentioned Jordan, Pete. Jordan's still 2 feet low.
Yeah.
I don't think the water will come up above.
What up, Steve?
Pool.
What's up, Terry?
Yeah, it's just
inch and a half. It'll come up 3 foot.
You think so?
It could. The only problem is if you look at the radar, and you look at the watershed going into Jordan, a lot of that rain may not reach that far west. So that's something to keep in mind too.
Yeah, that's true.
But you're right. If even if it doesn't come up to full pool or over it, you get enough, it's gonna be muddy.
Yeah.
Be muddy.
Yeah, but you know what? Regardless of the water level, we talked about this last Fishing Friday Live, and we talked about it on our show that we recorded this week. But the fall is in session. The thermocline is dissipated on a lot of the lakes, at least here in the Triangle area or Piedmont region. So you're gonna have fish everywhere in the lake. So even if it does rise, you still can catch fish offshore. If it rises too much and it's back in the woods, everybody knows the pain in the butt on Jordan to catch fish if they're too far back in the woods. But you can still go offshore and catch them.
It's just dangerous. It's super dangerous.
That's true.
Chocolate milk, it doesn't fish good.
Yeah. But yeah. So who said there's a BFL? Who was that?
Norman. That was Steve.
Yeah. BFL, man, those are like the meat grinder events of Major League Fishing.
Norman won't get canceled or anything. They canceled everything on from here east pretty much.
Did they?
Yeah. Tomorrow.
I know my daughter has a college campus tour tomorrow, and gosh, that makes me just seem old. College campus tour and a rugby game to go to, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to cancel that tomorrow. So. But yeah, I mean, Sunday, dude, if I don't get out on the water, I'm definitely going to get out in the woods, see if we can, lay down, a nice whitetail before gun season starts, but also what's going on right now is, the Bassmaster Opens is on, Lake of the Ozarks, right, Pete?
Somewhere. Yeah. I don't really follow it. I think they're on Lake of the Ozarks.
I think they're on Lake of the Ozarks. I think there's definitely, at least the last time we checked, they had 3 bags that were close to 20 pounds. So, Ben, from your perspective or from your experience, fishing in I guess Missouri would be considered the Midwest? Is that the Midwest?
Yeah. So that seems about right to me for this time of year. I mean, I've actually never on Table Rock myself to fish.
Table Rock.
No, Lake of the Ozarks.
No. Lake of the Ozarks. Sorry, Lake of the Ozarks. But just knowing all the lakes around there, that seems probably about right with October. Well, I guess it's not October, but late September fishing. The early falls. Yeah. Because I even think last year. When they did I don't remember the winning rates in November at Table Rock when they did the $1 million prize thing.
Oh yeah,
Was that last year or 2 years ago? That Bass Pro did. I still only think it was 20-some pounds that won it, maybe.
Yeah,
and they were doing that Alabama rig trick on Live Scope. So,
yeah,
that seems about right.
Well, it's getting down to the end of the season for the elite qualifiers, and so there's a handful of Bubbas that we talked about. But some people's lives are going to change. Between this and the last event of the season, some people are gonna get that invitation, man, to fish the Bassmaster Elite Series next year, and should be pretty interesting to see the however many they choose to select out of the top. I don't know, what is it, top 15 or top 12 for the elites next year? Is it 9?
It's 9.
Yeah, 9. So it should be pretty
Or
interesting.
10, I guess.
Yeah.
There's
it's
that's
supposed
set
to be
in stone.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 9 coming from the
Or it is 9. Yep,
But
it is 9. You're
we're
right.
saying
It'll
10.
be
Yeah, you
because
got to be.
Kenta's up there, so they'll bump one down, so it'll be the top 10 will essentially make it.
The person that had the most visibility on them this year, I think, was definitely Ben Milliken. I think Milliken's is he sitting in like 14th or 19th or something right now, but he's got some ground to make up over these next 2 derbies, and then we'll see where the cards lay at the end of the season. But
yeah, he's like 40 points back from having a shot. So
He's just not.
Yep.
Yeah, he came out of the gate strong in those first 2 events, and then, he had a kid though, and he's got right, so that's added stress.
yeah, he took like an entire month and a half off and didn't fish at all.
Yeah,
when he had his baby. So that'll throw anybody off their mojo.
And he's had one other good tournament that was at Eufaula where he was 22nd. But
yeah,
everything
but
else.
He punched his ticket to the Classic,
he's
right,
fishing
Pete?
the Classic,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's absolutely going to the Classic.
Yeah,
which was his only real goal.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it'll be more interesting once this one's over and they get ready to fish the last one, which is the Harris chain in October. So that'll be
interesting.
That'll be a little bit different event. Should be a fun one to watch. Terry said it won't come up gates. Yeah, the gates, they're going to shut them. I got the thing. I was down at the ranger station today. I forget what time he said they're shutting them, but they have to shut them because of all the rain on the east. They got to start holding water.
I pulled up the flow. It's shut.
Did they shut it already? Yeah, they told me they were shutting them today because of all the rain coming from the east. Because they're going to get pounded. They're saying the coast, Cape Fear River north. It's supposed to hit basically right at the Cape Fear, mouth of the Cape Fear. But they're saying they could see 3-4 inches of rain over the next 48 hours. So that's going to push it all back up into the river system, and it'll be rough. A lot of guys are going to be upset ruining the last weekend of flounder season. Since we only get 1 week in North Carolina now because of the rules. But
yeah,
you can go to South Carolina and catch as many as you want. So
really,
yeah,
there's no limit on them.
Well, I mean they have a limit, but there's no closed season.
Oh, okay.
So you can go down there and catch your limit every day for 365 days.
Yeah.
I think that's what frustrates people about that. But like I said, I'm gonna get the marine fisheries biologist on to talk about that because he's more educated than I am. I just know I accidentally catch flounder when I'm bass fishing.
Where did this tropical storm come from?
The ocean.
I'm gonna call Mother Nature right now and be like, what's
yeah, dude.
going
So
on?
they were watching it and it just kind of swung, and I think it was probably Tuesday or so when they were like, yeah, it's gonna hit North Carolina coast. So it came pretty quick. Like they watched it out there building, and it looked like it was gonna do what that last hurricane
that's
did.
right. I think.
What is it? Is it Hurricane Idalia or something?
No, this is a tropical storm. Well, I don't even know if it's officially a tropical storm.
Hang on. But because like the Big Lee one, oh no, this one just like popped up developed off the coast.
Yeah, I mean they've been talking about it since Tuesday.
Yeah,
I haven't seen them talk about it. Yeah,
Remember
I don't know when it came about, but yeah, I hope it gets about 3 foot, Terry, because Jordan's a lot of fun in the fall when it gets high.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely the time, like you said, to go chuck that square bill around, some top water, stuff like that. Pretty much the world is your oyster at that point.
Yeah, I've had some really good days in the fall, Jordan, when it gets up a little bit and you can get further back in the creeks.
So speaking of fishing, Pete, like I think you're the only one out of the 3 of us that has, tournaments pretty much spread throughout the entire year. So what do you have left for the year for tournaments?
I got We got a 2-day on Norman next month, which I'm gonna miss.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got too much travel in October, so I'm not gonna go over and fish that one. And then our club championship is in November
That's on Norman.
on Norman. Yeah.
Okay.
Which that's the same weekend as Nick and them's charity tournaments on that Friday, Veterans Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then our club championship Saturday, Sunday. So I'm gonna pre-fish, use their tournament to pre-fish, and then fish Saturday, Sunday for our championship. Oh, I hate to hear that, Terry.
Yeah. So
Which reminds me, I guess we'll talk about it on live, but my old man wanted to know if you wanted to fish that veterans tournament with him.
yeah, I'll fish it with him.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Yeah. I haven't been to Lake Norman since they broke.
I've never fished Lake Norman.
So
Neither have I,
two-
Pete. I've never gone.
So what was it? What year was Hurricane Matthew, Ben?
Oh, yeah, wasn't that
2016.
So 2016 was the last time I went to Lake Norman, and they busted the window out of my truck and stole all my fishing tackle. Is when I had my old boat. They stole all my fishing tackle. I took my family up there to while some contractors were working on my house. It punched a hole in my ceiling and ruined my entire downstairs bathroom. And that house was built like a piece of junk anyway, so no surprise. But I took the family up there and we stayed in a hotel and yeah, man, I no, you know what? That's the second to last time I went up there. But anyways, they broke my window out, stole all my fishing tackle. So then fast forward, I think it was 2018, maybe late 17. I took my family up there again and stayed in the Airbnb on a peninsula, which was far safer. And Norman's a lot of fun, but I have virtually no experience
Well,
on
that's what
Norman.
we should do then. We should get an Airbnb.
Yeah, for sure. And
it's Nick invited us to go for the tournament, and we're gonna do some stuff with them with the podcast.
Yeah.
And then we'll just get an Airbnb and chill. So I'll start looking this week.
Yeah, for sure, Terry. Like it's funny, Terry. I fished a tournament on Gaston this year. I came in like middle of the pack, but I went up there to make up some points or keep myself in the running for AOY. And it was really funny because I started fishing for largemouth, but I forgot that spotted bass lived in Gaston. Until they started schooling in the middle of a creek, and I ended up catching like 15 of them in a row. Of course, only 2 of them were like over 14 inches, and in the deal I was fishing, you couldn't keep anything under 14 inches. But yeah, I mean, I love fishing for spotted bass, man. I really do. I think it's fun. But the only thing I remember about Norman is like you could catch a gajillion of them, or they're all like 12 inches long.
I'm just gonna throw an egg rig over there.
There you go, Terry. Well, you're not going to be there. But yeah, I think if I go to Norman, I'm definitely gonna fish riprap and stuff like that with rock crawlers and A rigs and probably drop shot some deep stuff. But yeah, I don't have any experience. But you know what? The tournament itself is a benefit tournament. For one of our fallen service members, and I don't care if I even catch a fish, you know what I mean? Because the money is going towards a great cause. So I'm looking forward to it either way.
Yeah, and that's Special Operations Bass Anglers. If anybody's listening, interested in fishing, they put that event on. You can look them up on Facebook. Just type in Special Operations Bass Anglers, and all the information is there. Maybe we'll get Nick on.
Yeah, that'd be great
on a Friday to talk about it, and Nick and Mike.
That's what I love about. I think I've said it on here months ago, but that's what I love about those benefit tournaments is there's no pressure. Like it does not matter. I mean, obviously somebody's going to win and everyone else is going to lose, but everyone wins when you fish those benefit tournaments, whether or not it's going towards a veteran cause or first response, any the St. Jude's tournaments, all that stuff. Like it's just a great cause. So if you go out there and you just want to crush everyone's face, you're probably out there for the wrong reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just go out there and, give your money to a great cause and go have a great day on the water.
Yeah, I know they got a ton of cool giveaways, and Brian Thrift usually fishes it. So you'll see him. I think they said Hank Cherry may be fishing it this year. So get the opportunity to fish with and against and talk to some elite and BPT guys. And I think there's a few others that are coming just to hang out for Wayne and stuff. So it's a cool event. It'll be a lot of fun. make sure you check them out. And if you can fish. If you just are in that area and want to come hang out, watch weighing, that'd be cool too. We got a few events coming for the one cast. Will be Cashin next Saturday has their kayak masterclass. I got a few tickets left if anybody's interested in that. You don't have to be a kayak angler. There's a lot of good information that goes on there, a lot of good fishing talk. You get to tour the facility. They got a bunch of giveaways. They got rod deals going on during it. You get a free meal. Well, you get a meal with your admittance. I don't know what they're having this to go around, but it's usually really good food. We'll be there. There'll be a bunch of other folks there. So if you're looking for something to do next weekend, Saturday, check them out. You can go to cashandfishingrods.com and all the info's on there. And then we're going to Lake Lanier for the NPFL's final event of the year. We're going to be down there for all 3 days of fishing, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm looking forward to that one. It's going to be fun.
I'm looking forward to, and Ben, you can jump in on this too, but I'm looking forward, having this show has really opened up some really cool opportunities for us to meet really great people. And so not only am I looking forward to the podcasting part of it, but just the cool conversations that you have with all the anglers, like when they get off the water. And I think we're going to be able to jump in some boats and do some ride arounds with some of the anglers and stuff like that. And, those are just regular people like us, so it's great to hang out and, either drink a cold beverage or grill some steaks and have a good time. So, and I looked at it today, Ben. I looked at where we're staying, and we are 24 minutes away from where the MPFL blast off is at. So it's not too far away. So if you're in the Lake Lanier area, reach out to us, hit us up on any of the socials and stuff. And if you want to swing by, we will be there present and happy to talk to you.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be down there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
we
be
can
there for
figure out. I mean, obviously all the competitors are going to be focused, but we'll have to figure out some how we want to record, and we'll probably definitely bring other stuff on our socials, especially if we get out on the water. And we got to decide whether we're going to bring one of our boats so we can follow them around and mark waypoints too, so we can.
Well, I took the whole week off, and I wouldn't be surprised if I just go ahead and drive down there and tell Josh Watkins, like, hey, we're both in the Army, so I'm staying in your room because I have no problems bunking with somebody. But I might go down there a little early and just do some ride arounds and stuff like that, and then do some recon for us. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what Mama and the kids have planned for me. Probably nothing. But yeah, it'll be a good time either way. We're like you said, Ben, on the last, I think it was the last Fishing Friday Live or whatever. Like, we're gonna get the chance to see the last person of the season hoist the winning trophy, and then they should be presenting the AOI trophy. And right now, if you haven't listened, go back to our show either on Spotify or whatever medium that you use, and check out our episode with Todd Goad. Todd Goad is leading angler of the year for the MPFL right now. So he's got some guys on his heels. But if he pulls it off, man, it'll be a huge victory for him.
Hey guys, need some tips for High Rock for the morning. Cover water.
High Rock, huh?
If it were me, Frank, I don't know High Rock. I don't fish a lot, but I would just pick up a square bill and I would put the trolling motor on high and I would cover water because the thermocline is gone in our lakes and the fish are everywhere. So
yeah, so I'll say this about High Rock. If you don't know where the brush piles are at offshore, then your best bet, like Pete said and Ben said, is to just put a shad colored deal, anything, but like anything shad colored, and cover a lot of shallow water, and you'll probably end up catching them. I know a spinnerbait does pretty well there. I know square bills do pretty well there. So
especially if it's windy.
Yep, definitely. So
there'll be some wind up there tomorrow too.
Yeah. Hey, and Frank, Terry may have some insight for you because he's on here as well. So Terry, if you got any intel for him, send it his way.
What's up, Blue? Austin, Blue Beck. Hope you're doing well, bud. Long time no talk.
Beautiful bastards.
Yeah, I've never fished High Rock.
I haven't either.
Just out there, and from my understanding, it fishes a lot like Jordan. So, do a show about some of your personal lure modifications you use. If you do, try to zoom those.
I definitely modify my own lures.
Yeah, I mean, I do all kinds of goofy stuff. We can make some videos.
Yeah, for
and put
sure.
them up on our socials, Tim.
No, that's a great idea, Tim.
That's something I don't do a lot of. Now, like,
No, you don't modify.
I mean, I'll turn these jigs into a finesse jig. I'll spider cut the skirt.
Yeah, even that though.
In the wintertime. In fact, it's probably outside the one I did the other day for that video. But I'm trying to think what else. I mean, I might do. If I do anything, it's like I'm putting scent, maybe some dye sometimes, but I don't switch out hooks on stuff usually. I hot stock stuff.
We know.
So who made that? Who made that? Was that Tim that made that comment?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, dude. Like, and everything from adding lead to the bait to get it down further or change the action to upsizing or downsizing hooks to bending the like one of the things that not a lot of people do is if you grab a crankbait, for instance, I can tell when a crankbait's running true or not running true. Well, that little piece that that is connected to the bait itself that the O-ring is on, if that gets twisted in any way, shape, or form, it'll make your bait run in a different way. So yeah, we can do some videos on that. That's a great idea.
For that one, just Google how to
Google the one cast. We'll show you how to do it.
There's 7,000 videos on tuning a crankbait.
Yeah, I when you say modifying, like, I don't consider that modifying. That's just tuning. But like,
no, I mean adding lead,
adding lead, switching black hooks out for red hooks on a crankbait. Guys do that. A lot of guys, if they're using the old school jigs, they're going to trim or modify the weed guard, skirts. People will put paint stuff on their crankbaits.
Yeah, so I mean, I carry a whole pack of a multicolored Sharpies with me. I'm not going to carry my daughter's fingernail polish, but fingernail polish does play a role if you're trying to like quickly change some paint or something like that. But there's definitely some things that you can do, and I know I don't know all of them for sure. Like the toothpick modification to make the tail end of your bait float or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
Shrink wrapping versus O-rings on your stick baits and stuff like that. I used to do the shrink wrap thing. It just took too much time and I really don't care, but it definitely saves some soft plastics for sure. Boiling your frogs and some of your soft plastics that are a little bit more rigid and stuff like that.
Do you use an O-ring on your wacky rigs?
I don't. I don't use an O-ring. When I did use an O-ring, I would do two that were crisscrossed in the middle so that I could keep the hook point perpendicular to the soft plastic itself rather than parallel to it. But that's just me. It's when I did use the O-ring, it went that way.
I use the VMC rings.
Oh, do you?
The crossover rings, yeah.
Here's something I'll tell you. So in my old club, we had an orthodontist in the club, and so he used to hook us up with the rubber bands that people use on their braces. And so for a while there, I was using those. Well, let me tell you something. If you leave a pack of orthodontist braces, rubber bands in your boat and it's hot out, they melt together to one giant like gummy bear. So I stopped using those because I don't take all my tackle out of my boat every time I park it. So I used them in a couple derbies and stuff like that, but they just did not hold up. That's just my experience with them though.
Yeah, they wouldn't last.
Terry uses heat shrinks on mines.
Yeah, a lot of people do heat shrink. Recently got back in fishing. I see some guys change buzzbait skirts to frogs, things like that. Yeah, that's like a profile thing. A lot of that has to do with when you start messing with trailers and stuff. A lot of that's profile. Sometimes if they're really keyed on shad and stuff, I'll use a soft plastic swim bait on the back of mine just to get that shad shape and things like that.
Tim brings up a good point. Something I learned from Pete this year. I always thought it was like absolutely necessary to use a trailer on a buzzbait. It's absolutely not necessary to use a trailer on a buzzbait. I can tell you from watching Pete fish a buzzbait and even myself fish a buzzbait, you got to ask yourself, like, are they on a pure reaction feeding deal? What speed are they eating your bait at? Because if you want to slow it down, well, you can do a couple things. One, you can add a soft plastic to it. Two, you can change the gear ratio on the reel you're using. So there's a couple different things you can do, but I've always traditionally thrown a soft plastic either with or without a skirt on a buzzbait. And since I've been fishing with Pete on certain bodies of water, I've gotten away from that, and it really hasn't changed anything for me.
I don't ever throw a trailer on a buzzbait.
For a long time, I never threw a trailer on a spinnerbait. Now I pretty much always throw a trailer, but for a long time, I just caught plenty of fish without a trailer on a spinnerbait.
I've never put a trailer on a spinnerbait.
I do put a trailer on a spinnerbait, but it depends on what it is. If I'm throwing in the mud with like a 3/8 ounce spinnerbait, I'm not really putting a trailer on it. But if I'm throwing like a 1/2 or 3/4 ounce spinnerbait and I want the fall ratio to be a little bit more slow, then I'll put a paddle tail swim bait on the back of it and throw it in open water. But it really just depends on what I'm trying to do with it.
Why is a red hook different than the black hook? Why does changing the color of a bait cause more attraction? If we had those answers, we'd all be professionals. The red hook, I don't really get caught up in the red hook, hook, black hook thing. I don't know the science behind that.
This is the theory behind the red hook that most people will tell you. It looks like blood or an injured fish, right?
That's always been my assumption.
And
then changing color of bait, sometimes it's just because it's different and it'll cause them to react. Sometimes it's subtle things like, try not to give away too much juice, but little things like putting a little bit of fluorescent, like green or what do you call it, chartreuse, on the back of a shad profile bait. Because if you look at a shad's natural color, when the light hits it the right way, there's a section that's almost pure chartreuse. So you can just make it look a little bit more realistic with that. And then there's times where I think it's just a color that pisses the fish off. Methylate is a good example of that. It looks like nothing, but around the spawn, you throw that methylate, which is like I don't even know how to. It's like a matte pink. It's the weirdest color you'll see. But around the spawn and in the spring, it's a color that they just get mad and they eat. And I've seen it with like the pink trick worms that time of year too, like pink floating worms. You see a lot of guys throw them. It doesn't really look like anything, but it causes a reaction. And I think it just has something to do with the color. And around that time of year, it's just something that triggers a bite. Smallmouth up north, like chartreuse and stuff, can really make there's, you hold it in front of the camera in there. That's methylate. So it's like it's almost like chartreuse pink. It doesn't make any sense. But man, when they are eaten like pre-spawn and they're starting to move up shallow, there's days where that is the only color you can get them to eat. Terry said my 4 and 5 blades, I don't use a trailer. Yeah, I don't really throw a trailer on a spinnerbait. I just adjust my weight to where I want the water column. But I know guys that throw it and catch a ton of fish. It's just not something I've ever done. So like my confidence is to not fish one. And really 99% of this comes down to confidence. Does it really make a difference whether you have a soft paddle tail or not? Who knows? The fish are the only one that can really answer that. Smallmouth, watermelon, red flake. Yeah, I'm sure down here.
It is so funny. Ben, you were starting to say it about the theory behind the red hook and the bloodstream or whatever fish can see. But I know that you did a video a long time ago about, bass don't actually see all of these colors. They see more of the shades of the colors. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So if you look at some of the studies they've done and the experiments, what they think is that, so bass have 2 sets of cones in their eyes, whereas we have 3. So if a human has 2 sets of cone, we call them colorblind, dichromatic vision. And so what they think, bass see greens and reds really well, like in that kind of range. Like when they did their test, a bass would attack a white lure the same percentage as a chartreuse lure, because prior to the bass, it looks almost the same.
Identical.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so I'm trying to remember. So greens and reds they see really well. So is it blues they don't really see?
Mhm. It's almost like black to them, right?
Yeah. So it's a darker color. Now, like going back to the red hook. So red, yeah, bass can probably see it really well. But then you have the added thing with light waves and how well, like if you've ever seen a scuba diver, there's some videos like there's a scuba diver, he's got a red watch on or something. He's out in clear blue ocean water, like he goes down more than 10 or 15 feet, like that. That red watch becomes black. So imagine like Jordan Lake out here where you have 18 inches of visibility. That red hook or crankbait is probably not going to look red if our eyes were down there, right? Until like just a couple feet under the surface. So what I tell people is like this color does matter. It probably doesn't matter as much as we think it does.
Right.
Because look, I've been at days, and like there was one tournament I was on at Chowan, green pumpkin trickworm. The day before I caught all my lemon on for the second day. Same stretch. I was catching fish, but they were all short. So after about 2 hours, I went to water like green pumpkin red flake. And then I started catching fish that were an inch and a half bigger, and I could put them in my live well and won the tournament that way.
Yep.
Did that really red flake in that worm matter? Maybe, maybe not. It could have been current, that
Bite
one time
window.
go on. It could be bite window. It could be feeding. It could be pressure dropping, right? It could have been, maybe I was just making better casts, or I was hitting the right cypress trees and not, so who really knows? That's all confounding variables, and it's all anecdotal evidence. So it matters. Does it matter as much as we think it do? No. So just match the hatch. If you got these type of species in your lake, try to match it, because whatever it looks like to the bass is going to look like prey. So,
Dude, we are
Tim, that's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. So I'm just going to read Tim's comment for those that aren't on there. He said, I fished with a guy in a club 20 years ago, and he used to rub a battery terminal wire toothbrush over his worms to make them feel rough and more natural. He swears it made a little difference.
So
here's where we're getting to that whole preference thing.
But here's what I'll say on that, Tim.
yeah.
This is a free plug, right? But these are 6 cents worms. Every single one of these soft plastics disperses water differently.
Yep.
Right. And so while the brush itself, like what he was doing was he was changing the surface texture of that bait, and it was most likely dispersing water to where those fish heard or felt it, and they could see it better, or whatever the case may be. But I think it's so interesting.
That makes that much of a difference?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
if you have confidence in it,
well, it's kind of like
from an objective
think about like, well, you can use it with any bait. Think about if you have a jig, right, and it's absolutely getting crushed, and the paint's all off the head, and it's all screwed up. You tie the exact same jig on,
it's not getting bit.
The exact same color, the exact same size, the exact same trailer. Everything's the same, but that one doesn't get bit, and you go back to that other one, and it gets smacked.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. Crankbaits. I can have 2 identical crankbaits, and one I'll catch 100 fish on, the other one won't get bit. I think there's some merit to what Trey's saying, where it might be a dimple in the right spot, where it's causing a dispersion in the water. That's something that's triggering a bite or whatever it is. But there's things outside of our realm of understanding for sure when it comes to fish.
So one of the baits, and I agree, one of the baits that I think you can throw it in the spawn. That is never a good time to judge a soft plastic. That's not right. But pre-spawn, post-spawn, like when you look at a stick bait, one of the primary baits that's always in everyone's boat is a wacky rig stick bait of some sort. I have thrown the ochos, which have like 5 sides to them. I've thrown the 6 Sense Clouts, which are my absolute favorite, and they got a bunch of sides to them. Gary Yamamoto Cinco's, of course, that's a staple bait. They're just too expensive for me to buy. And then your Yum Dingers and all these other ones. But for me, the fall ratio is different with every single one of those. The surface texture is different with every single one of those. They disperse water differently. Like there's a whole bunch of things. I don't think the color mattered as much as the action and how it triggered the bite. So, but again, it really does boil down to like what the hell you're getting bit on, because like people will throw like straight chartreuse worms and tell you like that is the deal. There's no other way to fish. Hey, whatever you're getting bit on, throw it, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely throw it. I've caught a fish on a piece of candy before dragging it atop of the cross or across the top of duckweed, and it got bit.
They're not picky until they're picky.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people say color don't matter, and I think when you get really deep, like into specific colors, like I think there's overkill there.
I obviously think if you're matching something the bass are going to eat, then it's the right place, so they're going to eat that. Then, like, I mean, actually, the bass probably would. You Carolina rig a big lizard out in deep water. Yeah, actually, a bass is going to eat that, even though why is a lizard 25 foot down? But they'll still eat that. It's just color matters, obviously. I mean, it is true. Like dark lures show up better in dark water and low light conditions because they absorb more of those light waves, so there's a better contrast. So like it does play a role, but does it play as much as it rolls? Like you need to take, I'm going to take just a little dot of red or pink or chartreuse nail polish and put a little dot there on the crank. And that's gonna,
yeah. I don't think so, but if it works for you, man,
you know what else I think. But here's what else I think it's interesting. It's not so much the color, but it's the shape of. We're talking soft plastics here, like that really does boil. Like, yeah, of course, crankbaits, but whatever. Soft plastics, though, it just trips me out because it's not the color that trips me out, but it's the profile of the soft plastic. Like when you go to if you ever been scuba diving or if you ever just seen the forage that's in your lake, what does a Ned rig with a turd on it emulate?
Do I have
what's it look like?
Like the whole thing is we get so caught up on fish knowing what they're eating. They don't have any idea what they're eating ever. They don't know that when they're eating a threadfin shad that it's a threadfin shad. They know that it's something swimming in the water that looks like that. The same with, like Terry just said, brim, bluegill. They don't know that that's a bluegill. They know
that it's
a bait fish that they can fit in their mouth that's in that shallow water. It's why like super crazy baits, you see all these creature baits, like a brush hog. What's a brush hog look like? Nothing.
I don't know.
A bass doesn't know that that's not a natural thing, though. All it sees is, holy smokes, there's something there that I can eat in front of my face, and it eats it. So there's times where like that supernatural presentation, like a crawfish Ned where it has the claws and everything, will help you get bites that. And there's times where they're just going to eat a turd because it's there.
You know what I think is funny though, and Terry, I agree. Like like everything looks like a brim. Terry, come on, anything that's green, pumpkin,
it's like tastes like chicken.
Yeah, but like it's interesting. Like when you look at alligators, right? Like alligators, when they cut them open, they've found Folgers coffee cans in there. They've found license plates in there. They've found everything in there. And like to an alligator, like. It's just a piece of food. Like they don't care. And then when you look at the
think about it, they hit a spoon. They'll hit a spoon, a hunk of metal.
Yeah, for real. I mean that they will literally eat anything.
Right. And so like you start talking like brush hogs and like even big worms like this. And I mean, unless they're really staring down and looking at it, if they're just kind of that reaction strike or they hear it, your weight tick on a rock. I mean, it's going to look close enough to a salamander, a lizard, or like a snake or something that they're naturally going to eat anyway. So
I will tell you though that
a largemouth will eat any bass will eat.
They will eat anything.
It doesn't matter if aliens came to Earth tomorrow and I could put one on a hook and throw it out there, a bass would eat it.
I'm already here. But I think so. I'm not a live target guy. I think I only or a lunker hunt or a live target guy. But I can tell you that the few baits that I have thrown from I think it's live target, they create some really natural like looking crawfish baits and stuff. I don't ever get bit on those. I get bit on the baits that look like nothing.
Yeah.
That look like a piece of candy. You know what I mean? Like I wonder if like bass are like Peter Griffin, like, ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. And they just eat it. Like it's the damnedest thing. What I don't understand, because we're all superstitious about our baits and about our colors. What I don't understand is what's up with the banana. I just don't understand it. You know what I mean? Like I know we had this conversation before, but a banana is just like
Just don't put one.
Never gonna let you like catch a bass ever.
Nope. No.
For those who are listening, who thinks a banana's not gonna let you catch a bass? Like it's bad luck. I don't get it. It's a false.
Bananas away from my boat.
So I put a banana in the boat all the time. Terry goes, I come in there.
We'll see. I'm gonna start putting bananas in everybody's boat.
Put a banana in there, dude.
Not in my boat.
Oh man, it's funny. It's funny how we are so super.
I'll find a banana in my boat. I won't even launch it that day.
I had a banana. Pete and I were fishing down in the what was that river called? The Roanoke or
yeah,
Carolina.
And it was miserable for the first 4 hours. All because that banana got close to my boat.
The banana got close to his boat, and we weren't catching him very well. And he was like, "Yeah, it's because of you. You put him."
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Didn't I end up catching a 6-pounder that day?
We ended up getting on them, yeah, eventually, but they made us work for the first 3 hours because of that banana. Yeah, Terry. If you hadn't had that banana, you'd come in first.
I think it's funny. I love it gives us something to talk about. I love our superstitions, whether or not it's this is my lucky pair of underwear.
Banana's a mechanical thing. It's not the fishing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So like your engine's gonna blow out?
Yeah, it has to do with mechanical issues or sinking your boat.
Oh,
not catching fish.
Well, that scares me.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm still gonna do it.
Banana. I don't do bananas, and I don't do cherry pie or anything like that.
Cherry pie?
Yeah.
What's cherry pie have to do? The only thing I know about cherry pie is we used to put it in the pockets of the young kids that jumped out of an airplane for their first time. That was their cherry blast.
And then when they roll,
they
blew their.
Yep.
Yeah, that's real nice.
It's called your cherry blast.
Yeah. I didn't know there was one for the boat about the cherries.
It's not. That's personal.
Oh, that's a personal thing. Terry said the banana actually slows me down. Like slows you down to like, that you need to fish slower slows you down, or like it actually makes you slow.
Yeah, is that potassium?
Like your thought process is slow, you move slow, or like you slow down.
That extra banana weight slows the boat down. If I don't have me a Bojangles sausage, egg, and cheese before a tournament, it throws my day off. Yeah, man. You
got to get that cholesterol level to where it needs to be.
We all have that. And since I quit chewing, man, I've been off because I'm used to that big old giant ripper Copenhagen while I'm waiting for blast off. And the last 3 years, I haven't had that. And I've fished like crap.
Bojangles is dangerous.
Bojangles.
It's all because I quit chewing Copenhagen.
Oh man.
So now, usually I leave too early before even fast food opens, but unfortunately now that they open that Hardee's up here, like if I was doing tournaments, that's what I'd be stopping at in the morning.
The little Hardee's.
Yeah, it's right there on the way.
Greases up the elbow joints.
Yeah, it definitely greases something up, Frank. I'd
be hanging off the power pole when I eat one of those.
I think the worst thing about competitive fishing is when you just don't eat or drink anything because you're like, I'm too busy. I don't want to hydrate myself. I don't want to give myself any nutrition. I'm just going to suck it up all day long.
I do pretty good about drinking water, but I don't eat at all when I'm fishing.
I'm telling you got to wear a Camelback, man. Like that's the way to do it.
Dude, could you imagine wearing a Camelback when it's 117,000 degrees out?
I'm going to develop a PFD that has a Camelback attached to the back of it. So like
when you're running,
you're just like, you're drinking water. You got both hands in the steering wheel or one on the steering wheel and throttle. I don't have a hot foot because I'm poor, but still,
that's a good idea.
Playing
Yeah.
That is a good idea. Nobody steal that idea. I'm gonna do it.
I always stay hydrated.
Already
I
on
don't
it.
eat. Power
Damn you,
bar.
Ben.
Yeah. I fished a tournament last year, the year before. It was cold. It was like late February, and I didn't drink water at all. And about 12:30, my forearm started to cramp, and I couldn't fish anymore for like an hour. I just had to sit there and drink water because my hand just locked up. It was miserable.
So I'm sitting here.
I went to college with a kid who put wild turkey in his Copenhagen and get a better buzz. That guy's a hero.
Yeah. Terry said I had a heat stroke. This is the Fishing Friday live full of AARP members. Like, we're all old and like broken. It's like,
Terry, was that in the army when you had your heat stroke, or were you fishing?
you know, Terry, it's funny. We actually deal with more heat casualties in the winter time than we do in the summer, because people don't realize, like Pete, in the middle of what'd you say, November?
No,
October,
like
November,
February.
like
Yeah.
They think like, oh, I'm cool, so it's fine. No, it's not. Like, you still need to stay hydrated.
Yeah, those were good days when I was a medic and I always had IV supplies around.
Yeah, that's what you do. You gotta
Throw a line.
You gotta throw a saline lock in, and then like when you know you're getting thirsty, you just jam like 500 milligrams of saline.
Just take 1,000 milliliter bag
yeah.
with a blood pressure cuff and hammer it in there in about 14 seconds. You're good. I could tell some stories about that, but that has to be an after dark.
Got to force hydration.
Yep.
That's right. You get a little ranger shot here and there. You know exactly what I'm talking about, Terry.
Yep, I do. I make myself drink when I fish. Make sure I'm drinking water.
It's important, man. Like, you know, ever since I started, you know, getting older and, you know, I'm just worn down. Like, collagen is a huge player for me. Like, I take a shot of collagen in the morning to keep my joints lubricated, because fishing will blow your rotator cuffs out, your labrums and stuff like that. So it's something I pay attention to that.
And then I fished last Saturday with 100-degree fever.
Yeah, you did.
That was smart.
You lost all your good key fish that you probably would have won the tournament with.
I did lose some good fish
because your head was probably pumped. You probably felt your heartbeat in your head, didn't you?
My head didn't hurt that bad. I just had that brain fog from being sick.
Yeah,
like wasn't thinking straight.
So staple in my boat. If you ever get in my boat, I always have BC powder in there. I always have it.
Hey, good luck, Frank.
Always. Oh, he's doing the BFL tomorrow, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
No, he's fishing High Rock.
High Rock.
Is it a BFL on High Rock?
I thought it was a BFL.
Oh, it might be.
Yeah. Good luck, Frank, man. Hope you crush him, dude.
I wonder if Sam's fishing it.
I don't know. We need to get Sam on, Ben. We talked about that before. We need to get old Flipping Crickets on the show, and
yeah,
how you balance being a barber and an angler and a father and a husband. You know, that's a tough gig.
Yeah, I'll give him a call next week. We'll get him on soon.
Frank, yeah, just a club. Okay.
Club deals are more fun. I think I'm gonna join Pete's club next year. I'm missing the club life, man. Like, that's where real relationships are made. They're not made at those BFLs and all those other tournaments. Like, club life is the best life.
Word. Yeah, I figured Sam was fishing the Lake Norman BFL.
Yeah, that's where the BFL's at. That's what he'll be.
Yeah, Norman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Be out there throwing a chrome whopper plover.
Whatever it takes.
That's what Terry said. Catches the keepers. Chrome whopper plopper. I'm gonna go buy me 7 of them tomorrow, Terry. If I don't catch nothing, I'm ramming your boat.
I'll call on Monday and get the rundown of the event.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Been helping Sam on the side. Oh, you been barbering for Sam, Terry? Or you helping him with his fishing like a coach? Terry's one of them guys who got all that experience. I ain't got to catch it in the parking lot, bro. Once it's on the trailer.
He's so skeezing.
But, well, folks, we're coming up on an hour.
Yep.
I'm ready to eat some dinner. We're ready to get this tropical storm. Make sure you head over to onecastfishing.com. Use the code TheOneCast. Get you some jigs, some long neck hooks, weedless Neds. Head to CarolinaWatersNC.com. Use the code TheOneCast. Save 20% off for the month of September at checkout. I know I'm wrong, Terry. I know.
Well, he spelled it wrong, so you're right. I'm just messing with you, Terry.
You know, as always, as always, we appreciate y'all. Ben, you got anything?
No, I'm good. I enjoyed it.
Trey?
No, man. Hey, the nonprofits we always talk about, heroesharvest.org, which I'm an ambassador for that program, focuses on veterans, suicide awareness, and getting veterans in the outdoors. Check those guys out. Also, check out FX3 Inc., which is owned by Michael Johns. He fishes the Toyota Series. He was a former MPFL angler, and I think he's fishing the EQs next year. He also does the same thing, focus on veteran suicide awareness and prevention. Check out both of those organizations. They got donation links on there if you guys can spare an extra $1 or so like that. That money goes to a good cause. It runs elk hunting trips, steelhead fishing trips, turkey trips, fishing trips, all that stuff. So, you know, it takes a village to keep all of us in line and make sure we're getting the help that we need. So head on over, check those guys out.
Yep, you too, there. Y'all be safe. Appreciate everybody jumping on, and appreciate y'all helping us continue to grow a culture of anglers helping anglers one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow.